Happy
Hey, everybody.
New Year!
What's going on? Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Gonna See My Friends podcast. I'm here with Bret and Tim, old
More
buddies
friends.
of mine. You might have heard of Bret. He did our podcast a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, right?
I did. Yeah.
And we talked about Fetch and all of his music
Yeah.
and stuff. And Tim,
Music.
Tim's an old buddy. He's a bass player extraordinaire. Didn't you used to play with Cliff Burton?
All
No,
the time.
That's not you.
Yeah.
That's not you. Okay, that's
All the
another
time.
Tim. All right, well, we're here today to talk about the movie Highlander, and
There could be only one.
there could be only one. This is such a great '80s movie too, because I think, well, me and Toby have been talking about '80s movies, and every time we talk about '80s movies, there's like this little, there's like a, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a, let's just say there's a lot of cocaine flying around in the 80s. And I think it reflects in the movies.
Yes, I think this movie had probably a dish of it on the side, like
It's
ready
like-
for anyone. Like, let's have this guy
Hey,
do
yeah,
like 12.
go with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
do
yeah.
like 18 backflips in a row just to show you that you're cool and you can do that stuff in your geriatric state. Yes.
220.
I know.
Yeah.
Keep going, man.
I
We
need
don't
20.
plot here.
And so there's an element of that in a lot of 80s movies, and I think this one really kind of took that and went with it.
Yeah.
But it was such a great movie. It was one of my favorites. I own it. And Bret, you were saying that how about you, Tim? Did you guys have you seen this before?
I'd seen it before, but I can't say that I saw it front to back. I was distracted or something like that. Yes, I definitely this time butt was firm in the seat the whole time. So
Oh, nice. Hey, how about you, Bret?
Yeah. I had never seen it before. I thought maybe I had, but clearly I hadn't. I didn't remember any of that, and a lot of it is memorable. So I think though I had seen like the second and third movies, and I for sure saw the TV show.
Yeah.
The TV
second
show.
and third one movies are like, I don't know. I mean, I have to be in one of those moods where it's like, let's watch a crappy movie and laugh and make fun of it.
Yeah.
the
I
whole
was
time.
reading about the second movie after we watched this last night, and like not to get too far ahead of it, but I read that it is considered one of the worst films of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
On the Wikipedia, it has a hyperlink to worst films of all time. I was like, oh, wow.
there are a few like train tracks that don't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Like
So
you're just
apparently
like-
in the second movie, they like retcon a ton of stuff, and people were like, apparently it made it so much worse to do that.
Yeah.
So it's you should have stuck with the original ideas.
Well, they didn't plan on making a sequel, and I think they should have just left it alone. I mean, maybe make some like, once they understood because again, it's the 80s, so I always thought that they just the Hollywood thinking of like, well, okay, let's do this again, let's go, instead of kind of sitting with it and going, okay, cool, or what can we do with this,
Which just goes to show that it goes to show that Hollywood's been doing that forever.
Yes.
Like if anything, because people complain about that now, how everything becomes a franchise, and it's like, no, they all There's 5 diehards, which I mean, the first 3 diehards are impeccable, but like
right. And so anyways, I think they have been doing that forever, and it's getting kind of, but anyway, let me get to some of these facts here really quick, and then we could get into so Highlander came out, let's see, March 7th in 86. I was 12 years old. 12. Let's see.
I think that was also Jose Canseco's rookie year, possibly. So
86.
Yeah,
dropping the knowledge.
Okay.
Sorry, Bash Brothers.
Yeah, the Bash Brothers.
How long did he play in the minors, or did he come right up?
He played for a while. He had his twin brother Ozzy Canseco, and I don't know if they played on the same minor league team, but the A's that 3 years in a row had Rookie of the Year: Canseco, McGuire, Walt Weiss. Bam. Yeah, and then they hit 88.
Dude, I'm starting a little chat, and come baseball season, I'm starting to chat with my cousin who's a baseball player, and we're gonna do like kind of like a weekly thing, recapping the weeks of baseball. You should jump on that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tim's a wealth of baseball.
Baseball knowledge.
Your relative's a pitcher, right?
Yeah.
I think I remember when he played.
He pitched for the Angels. He was in the Angels organization.
Cool.
Anyway,
we have gotten derailed.
Yes,
just by
very derailed.
There can be
only
only
So
one.
it comes out March 7th, 86. I'm 12 years old. Russell McCahey, I don't know how to pronounce it.
I don't know.
Director. Stars Christopher Lambert. Lambert.
Dude, Christophe Guy Denis Lambert is his full name. I had to look him up. Christophe Guy Denis Lambert.
Hey, when he got hired for this movie, he didn't know any English, so he had to learn English for this movie.
No shit.
Sean Connery, Clancy Brown, and Roxanne Hart fill out the whole cast.
Fill out the people that you would know.
Yeah, exactly. And it was made for $16 million. Only made $6 million worldwide, but became a cult hit after it came out on VHS. And so 86. I was gonna ask. I always start out by asking, when did you guys first see this? Apparently, last night you refreshed it, or maybe you saw it for the first time last night. I don't know what it was, but I remember seeing this. Have you guys ever been to the Raven in Healdsburg, California?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, back in 6, it was called the Avon. And it was run down, and it was run by this little Mexican family. And it was basically a hangout for, on Fridays and Saturday nights, they would have a double feature. So I saw this with Aliens. So it was Aliens and then this movie.
Nice.
Wow,
sweet.
What an interesting tone shift.
But it was only like $5 or something like that back then. It was, or $3.50. I can't remember, but but literally you had to sit through basically like a schoolyard. It was just, nobody was whispering. It was a lot of yelling across the.
Yeah.
People were getting up and let's go talk to these people. It was just like a hangout for the teens.
That kind of sounds like a good environment to see Highlander.
Right. And I saw a bunch of movies in that place. I saw like Karate Kid 2. I think I saw there too as well.
Oh, nice.
And a lot of other things. But so it was that was the first time that I saw it. And I remember my cousin, I think Bret, do you know my cousin John? Have you ever met him? Okay. Yeah, he had seen it, I think, before I had, and he was telling me some scenes that were in it, and I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen that movie. And then the next weekend I happened to see it, and it was great. It was just one of those movies that kind of captured. You could just put on any time, like on a rainy day or something, or if you have something to do, you can put it on and leave it behind us. Or what Rich Eisens always says, it's the remote dropper. You see it on TV and you just, okay, I'm going to watch the rest of this.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
What are some of the first things that your first impressions on it?
Man, I thought, Christopher Lambert is an interesting choice. It was that first scene in Scotland when he's like, everyone's doing their, Scottish brogue, and he's just doing his, French English thing. And it was just like, what?
Yeah.
That was weird. Honestly, how it opens up in the wrestling match at Madison Square Garden, and it's got the big tracking shot of the camera going over the crowd and around the arena, and it looks pretty cool. It's like, oh, this is a kind of a cool shot. 1986, like cheap movie. But the weird thing, the Queen song is still kind of like playing, and the score is like spinning up. So there's like this helicopter noise.
Yeah.
So you think that the camera is like actually a thing in the movie, and then it just gets to Christopher Lambert like glowering.
Yeah. And everybody around, the crowd around him
was very excited.
The crowd's freaking out. And he's just sitting there with like the Morticia Addams like light on his eyes, and he's just like, all of a sudden it like moves on with the movie, and I'm like, wait, was there like a robot helicopter? What was that? Like,
no,
I was like, no, it's the camera.
It was a Dracula bat.
Yeah.
I just read that on the trivia page on IMDb. He said that he inserted helicopter sounds. For what reason, I don't know, but like,
I'm not crazy.
Maybe it brings up like a tenseness or something, because
I guess so.
For me, that the movie opened up and had the Queen song, which in that whole, like I say, the wrestling scene, it really kind of brought the mood, gave me like big time Blade Runner kind of vibe, like storminess out in the air. Everyone's kind of inside, like watching this thing, and so like to start off like that was like a big like this is going to be like really epic.
Yeah. Totally.
Well, the thing you guys skipped was the Sean Connery opening monologue.
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
Which it's one of my favorite here. Let me see. I think I have it queued up here. It goes, from the dawn of time we came, moving silently down through the centuries, living many...
You couldn't resist. You couldn't resist.
Living many secret lives, struggling to reach the time of the gathering, when the few who remain will battle to the last. No one has ever known we were among you until now. And so that sets it off really well for me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
when I hear that, I'm like, oh. And then the Queen thing.
And for me, seeing the movie in fragments at times, I forgot Sean Connery was even in the movie because I couldn't remember if he was in the second one. I was getting them all jumbled up, all the timelines jumbled up, which is,
it's crazy you couldn't remember famous Spaniard Sean Connery.
Yeah, the famous Spaniard Sean Connery jumping in there wearing his suit the whole time, like his garb. He's like wearing it the whole time, like fighting and everything. He's like, I'm gonna stick my heavy jacket on at all times.
Does he call him at the end? You Spanish peacock or something like that?
Yes, and he tells him, "All right, pendejo, pendejo. Let's see what you made of," or whatever. After he trains him.
Yeah.
Pendejo.
He says pendejo in a Scottish accent. Yes.
Yeah.
Just very authentic.
But
he was only a week. He filmed all the scenes in a week. And he was drunk the whole time.
That makes sense.
8 of the $16 million.
Yeah.
And Queen made the other 8, and then they're done.
Yeah, Queen made the other 8.
They're like, all right, I got $27.50 to do the rest.
I got blow, lots of blow.
Yeah. So what's his name at this point? His name is Nash, right?
Russell Nash, yeah.
Russell Nash.
He takes on the persona or the name Russell Nash.
Yeah, he's the name in New York, modern day New York. He's Nash. So Nash goes into the garage underneath Madison Square Garden and is looking around and is clearly heightened senses, can see something's off, and then steps on a soda can and startles himself stepping on a soda can. And it was wait,
he could sense anything else but that soda can.
Yeah, he's very particular about every move except for looking down at his feet when he's about to step on.
Yeah.
And to that point, that scene later when he kicks a can or a bottle over or something like that.
He's trying to sneak away. He kicks
getting his sword. He does the same kind of thing. I mean, it's
the clumsiest.
He didn't train him well enough.
Maybe because he's immortal, that's why he can afford to be so clumsy. He's like,
maybe.
Maybe he's like, I don't give a fuck.
But he has that fucking crazy scene, that fight scene where the guy does the 20 backflips.
Yeah. Well, that guy, I don't know about the backflips, but that guy who he fought, the actor, he was the guy that did all the fight scenes in Star Wars. He choreographed all the fight scenes in Star Wars.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. His name is Peter Diamond, I think it is. Peter Diamond. Yeah. And he did all the... I
believe he probably tried his best, but the movie has some clumsy sword fighting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
has a lot of clumsy, a lot of clumsy stuff.
That scene after the beheading part, everything erupts and becomes electric and explodes.
Yeah.
I know Bret and I were talking about that. That would be the best job in Hollywood. Be like, you want me to blow that up? You want to blow all those cars up? Yeah, I'll blow all those cars up. And then in the future part of the movie, I'll blow up that. I'll blow up that.
Yeah. They really they had the pyrotechnics team had 5 big set pieces in that movie.
Yeah, it was awesome.
They got to go off.
Those windows.
That garage one was crazy. They blew up 50 cars.
Yeah. Imagine if your car was in there too.
That's what I'm saying. I think he parked on the 3rd floor or something. One higher, and he had to walk up some stairs. They didn't show that scene to get his car.
He's all, I'll meet you on the 3rd floor. No, actually, let's go the 2nd. Let's go the 2nd.
Second floor is better. Yeah, I can get out. Yeah.
Also, was he going to meet that other immortal, or did the guy sneak up on him? Because I guess they can sense each other, right?
Yeah, I think he was there just to I think he was there to meet him.
Okay.
Because in the course of the movie, they all have, or he can feel when another one's around, I suppose.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking anyways. I don't really know, but because he's also friends with one, as we jump ahead into the movie, but so I think they, something, I think he just went there to meet him. I don't know.
Yeah. But then so after they fight, he chops his head off, and then, so that's the quickening, right? When he absorbs all the energy or whatever, and all the explosions happen. he gets into like, you know, he goes to the other level to find his car.
Yeah.
Like gets in the Porsche, and you get like 5 seconds of really awesome like driving out of the garage, like this shot from behind
POV,
his shoulder,
yeah,
where it's maybe not him, but whoever the stunt driver is it seems like it's sped up, but it's not. It's really a guy hauling ass in a Porsche out of the parking garage. And it's like, oh shit, like this is getting kind of rad. And then the second he gets out of the parking lot, he's stopped by the cops and has to get out of the car. It's like
over.
5 seconds of awesome driving, and then like that's it, no more cars.
Well, the director was a video. He did music videos, so I always think that. So his action pieces have to be like really quick. So he'll cut to something. It like in the when they go back in time and they're fight that first battle. You know, when he meets the Kurgan. Like you see, like the cuts are just they're not there long enough to establish any kind of like or anything like that. So that whole movie is kind of set up like that. But then if there's like a big landscape, he takes his time and
I will say there was some really cool like transition shots. They did a lot of like shots where they would match some, not just like one face transitioning to another face, but like using like faces to match geography of the following shot, you know, as it would like, you know, do the fade in and out, which was pretty cool. There was definitely some cool like tricks done, but it seems like that guy had 100 ideas and he only had enough film for like 50 of them. So some of those ideas get like 10 seconds and it's just like you, the viewer, have to figure out what that all meant.
Yeah, exactly. And then when the beheading, or when was it? So when he gets stopped by the cops, then they go to that first battle when they go back to
1536. The year of our Lord 1536, as the exposition priest tells you immediately.
the banter he has with his cousin Dougal.
Yeah,
Dougal, yes.
And all that, you know, and then his girlfriend or his wife or something is like,
oh yeah,
I'll keep an eye on him. And whatever. I can't. There's a funny thing that they said, and I can't remember what it is, but it's like save the best part. Oh, we know what part that is.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then meeting the Kurgan, what did you think about Clancy Brown? I think this is probably for me one of his.
I was very excited to see Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
I was too, and he got to kind of play a little freak, which was cool.
Yeah.
He definitely had some like interesting acting moments, but they fit with the movie, you know?
Yeah.
The tongue waggles and the eyeballs and all the kind of stuff like that. And then when he lost most of his hair.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
And then when he was driving, he's like, ah!
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Candy. Good. Of course you are.
Yeah. His voice and everything worked well with it. He's a menacing looking guy.
Yeah. And I think he was a great part of the movie too. And he was on the Rich Eisen show probably about a year ago. And he was talking about that. And he was like, I didn't get paid anything for that movie or hardly anything. Well, like he just didn't make any
scale.
Yeah. And he goes, he goes, I was really kind of, I don't know if said he was nervous, but he was really just kind of zeroed in on his role. And he goes, it was fun. And they shot in a real church too. That's the weird thing. Cause I remember doing a student film in San Francisco and we asked a bunch of our church if we could shoot in there. It was like a scene where it was a horror movie. So it was like a scene with some stuff. I don't know. I forget what it was. And every church would be like, no.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the idea of filming a scene like that in a church in New York is like, that's kind of lucky.
Yeah, because he gets pretty sacrilegious in there. That was really a scene of like a guy being like, I'm just gonna go all out, man. This is my big break.
yeah, definitely. Let's see what else.
So back in Scotland, he gets stabbed, doesn't die.
Yeah, doesn't die.
And everyone like shuns him.
Everyone hates him big time. Yeah,
he's in league with Lucifer.
Yeah,
like, she's the worst in that part of it.
Yeah, she turns on a dime.
She wants to burn him. She wants to burn him. His buddy, you know. says,
And
"Hey
his
man,
cousin-
get out of here."
His cousin's like, "There'll be no burning today." No!
Yeah.
Dude, it's like, calm down. I'll leave.
But yeah, and I guess it's like flashing back and forth to like New York at this time, right? So he's like, he's held up by the cops. There's that one,
and that one cop, that one cop.
Oh yeah.
Don't move, pal. Don't even breathe.
The best dialogue in the film is the, "What are you, F?"
Oh yeah,
and then,
he drops. He drops the F-bomb on him.
And then he says, "What are you looking for? A piece of ass?" or something like that. And it's just like,
where are you from? You talk funny, Nash. Where are you from? Lots of different places.
Yeah, lots of different places.
Yeah, that's that scene for me. Tim, oh, you froze like this, Tim. But scenes like that from in the police station is it's pretty. Those are pretty funny too. I like those movies because that's the typical like cop, like old grizzled cop. Hey, where you go? Hey, no.
Yeah.
Are we through? What does he say? Or no, he goes, are you charging me or something? And he's all, no, not yet. Then we're through. And he leaves. And, just those kind
after assaulting the other cop, he's just like, I'm out of here.
He threw some haymakers all over the place. And like, oh, we got nothing on him. He's got to go.
Yeah. Did anybody see that? No.
No, I didn't.
Holy shit. Yeah. And then, we went back and forth. And then
when he goes back to Scotland after he's been like kicked out, it's like 5 years later, and he's like met this woman, and he's like a blacksmith or something or whatever. And it's just like, it takes you a second. He dunks his head in the water for fun.
Yeah.
You could do that to me forever if you like.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
I will.
Yeah.
And then, the whole
Sean Connery, right?
Yeah, and that's when we meet Sean Connery. And then that's when he goes, "Get in the house, Heather. I'll stay right here. Do as I say, woman."
Yeah. All he turns on the time, he becomes very freaking paternalistic all of a sudden.
I know.
Hey, I want a divorce.
Like, dude.
Who are you calling?
Do as I say, woman. Yeah. That's and then the introduction of Sean Connery in this movie is, for me, the epic cheesiness, like, just, he knows, like, they all know they're in a movie that's just, it's not ridiculous in the sense of like, oh, I don't want to watch it, but ridiculous in like the grand scope. The scope of this movie is like, we're mortals, and what are we doing here? And so you could tell that he just kind of embraces. I mean, Sean Connery's, I love him.
He clearly just got off the plane from like Monaco or something.
I know. He's very tan. He's very tan. Like, just touch up the stash a little with some black, and we'll be good. You know?
He was living in Spain at the time.
Spaniard, so I gotta get tan.
He was living in Spain at the time, so he was like, he was getting ready for this movie. He had a week, and he brought some scotch that his friend had made him that was like stronger than anything, and was drunk the whole time when he was doing this.
Awesome, good for him.
Exactly. And
then that was the first. So that Sean Connery, him meeting Sean Connery, and then the next like 30 seconds was the first time I noticed was like, wait, they have way more ideas than they have time for. Because they just rammed through in like one sentence of Sean Connery talking. There's like 3 different scenes that happen in the background, like 3 seconds each. And then you're back to New York. And it's just like, whoa. Like that was,
I know,
that's your
lightning struck
explanation.
at least 3 times during that thing. They fought on cliffs and like well,
that's when they're training, but
they're training. But what's great about this movie too is if you look close enough, you can see the stunt people and stuff, which is awesome because that dates the movie. Like they don't do that now. They have CGI and they all look close. And they can do whatever. But when you see like wires, or when you see like people's, like that's not the guy. You know, look at his hairpiece or whatever. Like
Well, that's the thing too. Little trivia is that the castle that he lives in is a museum in Scotland, and there's a like parking lot right in front of it. So they had to like put it all with like dirt and cover it with dirt and cover some houses. And then apparently, which I can never find, but apparently in that opening shot when they're pulling into the castle, the camera, apparently you could see like a car drive by in the background, but I can't find it. Yeah,
I bet.
That's
I bet.
yeah. And so that's what kind of, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, this movie is ridiculous, but I love it. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it comes back. Wait, right. So it does come back to his training, I guess, pretty quick. It just hops to New York to kind of continue the New York storyline. I think setting up meeting, what's her name? Roxanne Hart's character, Brenda.
Oh,
right?
Brenda. Hi, Brenda.
It sets up like meeting her or whatever, but then you go back and you actually get some like training. Still not very much.
Right, right.
And that's where you get one of the scenes where he like finally beats Sean Connery on the cliffside, you know,
right.
and like
we skipped the part where they on the boat, you know, when he's rowing the boat. He's like, you can't die.
Oh, yes.
You're, you know, and he's like
come out of his pants when he's on land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's underwater.
He learns that he's immortal. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Training.
Yeah. And he tries to sneak up on him on Sean.
Oh yeah.
His name. Sean
Is
Connery.
it Juan something Ramirez?
Ramirez.
Yeah.
Ramirez. Yeah. That's what he tries to sneak up on him. And you can't die, McLeod. And then the fish come out of his little humor there. That was funny. Yeah. And then they go back to
him sitting on the bottom of the lake, like
I know, walking around.
Yeah.
It totally got the what was that, Top Secret, when he's under the water doing a little scene or whatever. It's the same kind of thing. He's walking on the ground like
we got to do that one, that Top Secret. And
I love that.
Another one is Real Genius too. I want to do that one. Do you guys, have you seen that one?
I've never seen Real Genius.
I've seen it a few times. Top Secret was a VHS favorite for years.
Yeah. Right, cool. So then they go back and Brenda's they go back to the scene where, what is it? She asks the dude for lunch, and then she goes back in and checks out his pictures and everything. Is that what it is? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then then the Kurgan, right? The Kurgan's like, he's driving around in New York, and you hear the radio going, and we gotta, you know, whatever, another headless, whatever. And he's listening to the radio, and then he's Highlander. Something like that.
Yeah, it pops in the cassette tape.
Yeah.
I always thought Highlander referred to the Immortals, and I didn't realize until watching this movie that like he's the Highlander.
Yeah.
Like because he's like the immortal Scotsman. I always thought like Highlanders plural, like the immortal people were called Highlanders, and I didn't realize
really?
Be like, oh no, gotcha. He's just the Highlander from Scotland.
Right.
Or the immortal from Scotland, so they call him Highlander.
He lived in the Highlands of Scotland.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like, that kind of makes more sense.
It's also the same with what was it, the
Kurgan.
The Kurgan. He was from Kurgan, right? He was from a Kurgan area.
Yeah.
And they used to like throw their babies down wells with dogs for sport or something like that.
Something like that. Whatever he says.
Like, jeez, you know?
Like, whoa. All right.
No wonder this guy's mad.
I know. Right. He comes from a bad place.
He also, when he first, in that first Scottish battle scene, when he tries to kill McLeod, he first McLeod's standing there. No one will fight me. Why will anyone fight me? And then he's Kurgan like stabs him in the belly and goes for like the killing blow, and then he just gets like immediately dragged away, and immediately is just like another time.
Yeah, he's still like 30 feet away from him, and he's like the biggest dude on the field.
Yeah, you could have worked this out.
Taking those two guys on. Plus, McLeod is like takes the biggest swing that you ever could.
Yeah,
he was a horrible swordsman, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of clumsy sword fighting, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's
So it's back in New York. Brenda's figuring stuff out.
Yeah,
that must be the scene then where like she goes back to the garage and then
the metal flakes. He gets the sword,
figuring out the little chips of the sword and the column or whatever.
And then, bottle kicking, and then
he follows her to the bar,
which a creepy scene, dude. It's creepy.
It was so weird. I said this when we were watching it. I don't know. Maybe I'm off base here, but it seemed like it was straight. Or I guess it would be the other way around, but it seemed like it was straight out of Cowboy Bebop. The way
I've never seen that.
Oh man, great show. It seemed like an anime. The way that scene was staged, where he makes the you go to the garden often or whatever, and she like it jump cuts to her looking to him, and the bartender like, who? Like, you know, goofy faces or whatever, and then back to her, and then back over to them, and then it like cuts in close, and it's so like the dialogue is so weird. It just felt like an anime scene. It was very like weird.
Well, I feel
staging all of a sudden.
Well, I feel like I've seen it so many times. I just figured that he's been alive for so long that he knows that she's with the police, and he wants to know like what's up. So I don't know if he intentionally wants to creep her out, so that then maybe she'll follow him. But I feel like there was some sort of point which comes out. It doesn't come out at all. Like you have to read into it. I mean, because I've watched it like a million times.
There is
but, like,
a lot.
That's what I always felt like.
There's a lot of it puts a lot of work on the viewer. Like, just you got it, you know.
Well, obviously he's a Mac.
Just put these.
And he's a Mac daddy. So like, you know, he knows how to play this game a little bit. He's been around for 2,500 years or whatever. You know, he's seen women come and go, get old in front of him, all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
well, so, because like, when he walks, go ahead. Sorry.
No, the creep out's part of his game.
Yeah.
Well, I always felt like when he walked out, you know, and the way that that's filmed with these wide angle lenses, but close up, so it makes their like face look really big in the screen.
Yeah.
But like then she starts following him, and then all of a sudden she's in the middle of this fight with him and the Kurgan, and
that's right. No, he pops up out of nowhere, right? Like and you just see that shot of his face, like he's all surprised,
And then, I mean, not to get too far ahead, but then when the police come in the helicopter, hey, stop, don't run, or don't run. It's like, okay, you got me. Sorry, I'll wait till you land it, and then you can arrest me. Yeah. That fight it's pretty clunky, but it's because he's fighting with a steel pole or something that he has?
Got like
fire or something. A fire thing. Yes,
and he's hitting.
Yeah,
but keeps hitting him, but he's like. Not a mark on him. That's But then you know he scolds Brenda. Is like, you have one life, treasure it.
Yeah,
and then he takes
she's
off.
Like, what?
He's like, there can only be one. What? I want to know.
Yeah.
You know. So, anyways,
is that when they go back and she gets the tour and he explains like, you know, that he's 500 years old or whatever? I feel like
that's after.
That's later.
He goes to the apartment for her apartment first.
Oh,
I don't know.
Right.
I forget. Yeah. And then he brings the brandy.
Yeah. Like 300-year-old brandy.
1700. Like,
And has all these historical facts and
and then he has the book, her book.
Yeah.
She calls him asshole and like all this stuff. Like, you wrote the book, lady, you know?
Yeah.
We just found it.
So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna shoot me, or are you gonna? What does he say? What are you gonna turn me in, or are you gonna shoot me with the 45? Which is, I don't think it's a 45, right?
Oh yeah, the little the pistol she
has.
The
revolver, yeah.
And
and then she does a really interesting thing, which I think is like he says it, and she immediately like goes like, oh shit, and like goes over to her gun stash, pulls it out, and like drops all the bullets out of it, and puts it back away, and then goes and tries to talk to him like. It was actually kind of a weird direction thing that's kind of like, actually, that's a smart move. You know, like, oh, shit, this guy knows about the gun. I'm going to get the bullets out of it so he can't shoot me in a minute.
I never thought of it that way. I always thought that was just kind of odd, but that's... I guess
it was a weird choice. There's a lot of weird direction.
And then, let's see. So, that's when she's like, it's like discovering an airplane 1,000 years before the Wright brothers ever flew or something.
The Japanese sword that's like 1,000 years older than it should be. Yeah,
it's like folded over 200 times. And they
Yeah.
didn't start doing that until the 1800s or whatever. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Which, do they ever explain that?
Well, they say it's a 500 BC sword, right? From Ramirez's character.
It's from Ramirez.
Yes. And Ramirez gave it to Highlander. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
so then, is that when we jump back to like Ramirez's final scene? Is that when we? I think
I
we.
think so. Yeah.
At that point, go back to the castle where he's hanging out with like McLeod's wife, and they're just having a time.
Yeah, McLeod's not home from
hanging
work
out.
Yet. Yeah. McLeod's
he's stuck in traffic.
He's in traffic. He's late.
Yeah.
They're just
middle of the night, just like gone. And then, they're drinking wine, and then the Kurgan shows up, right?
Yeah.
They have that's where he slices the front of the Kurgan's neck, but doesn't quite get it.
Yeah.
Well, I remember seeing that as a kid, and when Ramirez gets it, I was like, oh man, I would have loved to. And part 2 kind of brings it back, but I wish he could have had more scenes in this movie, which apparently in real life, McLeod and Ramirez and Sean Connery got along so great that that's why when they went to do the second one, he insisted that Sean Connery come back and do the second one. Yeah, because they got along so
that's
well.
what got them we'll just have to do a flashback and retcon.
Well, they made him in the second one. They made him aliens, and for some reason, and
really
that's the part. So initially, when I first saw part 2, that was the storyline, and then they came out with this cut called the Renegade Cut, and it reconned Then it cut out all of that alien stuff, and I don't know how they did it, but then. So that's why, it's just it's a mess, dude. It's a total mess. And they had to figure out a way to make part 2, because at the end of this movie, he's beaten them all. And so he's mortal and he can grow old and have children. And he
straight up says, I'm immortal now and I can have kids, so let's do that.
Yeah.
But he also, I guess we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
So, anyway. So when Ramirez gets it, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
And then
he goes out with the, poof.
Yeah.
I forget what he says. And then there can be only one.
Yeah.
And then
the castle collapses.
And another pyrotechnic dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explosions, fog, a lot of fog on this movie.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And then he's on that that stairway that's a Tim Burton stairway from
the light which collapses and you're like, oh, okay, maybe that's end of a Kurgan for now, we'll see him later, and then he just immediately pops up to grab the wife.
And then I think that they go with so the training montage was before that, and that was when he learned how immortals can kind of bind with animals and feel everybody.
The elk or whatever running around.
So excited that he could feel that.
He felt it.
They just start running. That's what happens.
I feel it.
I can feel him, and then the buck starts running off, and so then that, and then so they have the training montage, and is that that's where he tells them nobody will fight on holy ground or something that?
Yeah, he tells them the rules of engagement, the things that they're not supposed to be on holy ground, have any fights or whatever.
Which sets up why they can have the talk in the church later.
Yes, exactly.
And then there's the and then I think that's when he did you guys watch the director's cut, or did you watch the normal theatrical?
I think the OG, the original unremastered.
I don't know. Yeah, it definitely wasn't the 4K version, because
it
was whatever was free on it.
I think it was the original.
Yeah. Okay. Because there's a director's cut that has a few more scenes in there that I think they show him during World War II and him and.
Oh yeah, no, that was in.
Where he shoots
the girl.
Yeah.
Rachel,
his secretary.
Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel. The whole thing with the Nazi.
Yeah, you're the master race.
Yeah. That's a great line.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, you're the master
reminds
race.
me of like an Arnold Schwarzenegger line from one of his movies or something. Yeah,
that was a great scene. Yeah, so you did see the director's cut, and then let's see. There's all these scenes, and I can't remember which order they're in, because every time I watch this, it's just I can recall every scene, but I just can't really put the order in.
It might have something to do with the fact that it constantly jumps back and forth. 500 years.
Well, that one scene where he's fighting he's fighting somebody in Boston Commons because he called his wife. I forget.
Yes.
And he keeps getting stabbed.
Yeah, that's his arrogant phase with the whole immortality.
You
can't kill me. I'm going to get hammered on this stuff, and you can stab me a whole bunch of times, and I'm going to run off and freak y'all out.
And then Just things like that, man.
Just playing with his immortality.
That's the cool thing about the Highlander TV series, which I'd never watched, but I have friends that have watched it. They liked it or whatever. But that that was a good idea in terms of like where you could go with a character,
right? You could do like a quantum leap thing where you just like go anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. Where he's just in different times and but I would, I wish the movies, because I heard that they're doing a remake. I've heard that doing a remake a bunch of times, so I don't know if it's going to come to fruition. But I've heard about remakes like forever, and Henry Cavill was supposed to be the latest I've heard. He was supposed to be.
Wow!
I was thinking like Steve Buscemi or something.
He could be the Kurgan.
There can be only one.
Yeah.
And there can be only one, guys.
Yeah.
That's what they tell me.
I think Henry Cavill's probably too busy with his Warhammer obsession at this point. I would think.
Yeah.
Is
he doing a movie on that or something?
He's trying to like launch a whole thing.
Oh,
he's big into it. He's a big nerd for Warhammer.
Videos of him.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. Well, I've seen those videos of him where it's like labeled like
figurines.
No, it's labeled like, this is how easy men can make friends, and he's just like, so he goes, I play Warhammer. He's like, oh, and Henry Cavill's like, oh, you do? So what are you on? And they say the lingo, and he's like, great, okay, so and it's like exactly. They're on like a talk show or something, Anyway, so where are we at? We're at let's see, Ramirez just got it.
Yeah, Ramirez dead.
And
and then where does I lose track of where it goes?
Yeah, because I think that's when he tells, because it's close. The two scenes that are close are when he tells Brenda, and then when he loses Heather. I think those.
Oh, right. We see him we see the rest of the life he lived with Heather.
Yeah, and she gets old and
she dies on his lap or whatever.
Yeah. Will you light a candle on my birthday and remember? I will.
Yeah.
Sorry, the scene in the church when putting out the candles, the hands all like just like. Dude, you can do a Mystery Science like 3000 on this and like it's awesome.
Yeah.
Ouch!
Yeah, I know. It's like you couldn't get like a high-powered fan and just like put them all out at once to make it look like some sort of cool shit. Like, no, I'm just gonna smash my palm on all these individual candles.
And then that's when he realizes that the Kurgan, essayed his woman. And he's just like,
I know.
Dude.
Which I feel like we could have done without that motivating factor. We didn't need to know that.
Yeah, that's true, because they have to fight each other anyways.
Yeah,
they have to fight each other anyways.
That was thousands like
that.
After 1,000 years, I gotta after a couple hundred years, I just have to it's water under the bridge. Then that's when that dude, that survivalist or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Goes and hunts the Kurgan.
Hello Moscow or whatever.
And he loads his like Uzi, his 9mm and stuff, and he's going out.
Come on. And then when he sees
trouble.
him, he's like, go. Come on.
Talking like he's on comms with a freaking SEAL Team 6, just like talking to himself. And then they're fighting, and he just says, "What the hell's going on here?" It's just like, what? Like, is that your
plan?
Yeah,
I'm gonna sneak up. I'm gonna get really close, and then I'm gonna yell at him. That's but another trip.
That was only the second scene we get with the other cool immortal guy who, like in the previous scene, McLeod meets him. I forget his name, like Vanaker or something like that. And they meet on the bridge, and they both kind of look like they're standing off, and the guy pulls a flask out, and they're like, "Hey, let's go get a pint."
His old drinking buddy.
The last time you're like, okay, maybe there's going to be a cool, levity
team
moment
up
between a couple of mortals, and then the next scene he's fighting the Kurgan in an alley and dies.
Yeah,
it's just but then that does set up that next great pyrotechnic scene.
Yeah,
where the entire alleyway, all the windows explode, and all the dumpster, the sewers, all the manhole covers blow off with like flames and stuff. And there's a crowd of onlookers.
Yeah.
The old lady, the old guy in the crowd.
Before we hit that.
Yeah, the old lady in the car.
The survivalist dude, he's got a connection to Star Wars. Do you guys know what the connection is?
No.
He is in Empire Strikes Back. He's the dude that goes, Echo Base, I found him. Repeat, I found him. At the beginning, you know? That's the same dude.
Wow.
This dude is famous.
Yeah. Those two credits. Anyways. Yeah. So then, after he shoots him up, he turns around, he makes him into a shish kebab.
Yeah.
And he throws him against the
holds
wall.
him way up on the
Yeah.
side.
He's casting out for bass or something. And he's just like throws him across the alley.
Yeah.
And this guy totally lives though, and he's like not even that messed up.
Yeah. And
he actually has a pretty great scene later talking to the cops from the hospital bed that I feel like is a pretty it's actually kind of good. It's like, okay, cool. Like kind of good job telling the cops. And then when it's time to recount what he saw, like the quickening, they just like pull out of the room and you just see him talking to the cops. And then it just cuts away. It's like, what? It's like, I guess they didn't want to bother rehashing the quickening for the viewer.
Yeah. But then when he gets into the car, he rips off the top and he throws the dude out. He's like, Mom.
Yeah.
And she gets on,
and then
on
she's
the
hanging
hood.
on the front of the car.
And then it's like, where the hell did that scene come from? Like, why was there this need to have an old lady in stockings? Like her undergarment stockings blowing up while she's on the hood of like a classic 90s.
I know. And that's the like last you see of her. That's it. She's just on the hood, and then later the Kurgan's back, and it's like, what happened to the old woman?
Probably just jumped off. Yeah, that was a great scene. That was that was funny. And then that gets to, I think that's when he tells Brenda, "Hey, my name is Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod. I was born in, what is it,
1536.
1536 on the on the shores of." I can't remember. I used to have it memorized. I can't remember it anymore. It's kind of like one of those speeches that, like, let me tell you what Melba Toast is packing here from Days of Confused.
Oh, yeah.
We got the 403 board over 30, pop-up Pistons. It's like one of the, I used to have all those things memorized. Now I can't remember.
Right. Yeah, we're too old for that now.
So then that sets up, let's see, so they have a little, they bump uglies, and then
and that scene too was pretty close to like, that was like we need more sweat over here or whatever, you know, something like a camera needs to shift a little bit or whatever.
But it was like they both needed, like, they needed that scene because the next scene is like them breaking up and like, okay, well, I hope you find what you're looking for, whatever. And then she goes home, and that's when the Kurgan gets her and sets up for the final count or showdown. On that, and that's when he tells Rachel, "Hey, if I don't come back, then no, I'm not coming back." So
so he gives her yours. Gives Rachel which I thought was a cool like sub story that the girl that he saved in World War II just became his buddy assistant for the rest of her life, kind of thing, which was kind of cool. It would have been fun to explore more of that. And then he just basically is like, here's the keys and all my antiques. I'm out.
Later, I got to find some other kid that was stillborn or something, whatever.
She was like, you need to, what did she say? Like, you need to let yourself love or something like that. He's like, maybe that lady I boned down with would be someone to love.
Maybe I should.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, okay.
Maybe you're right. But and so then the Kurgan gets Brenda and ties her up to some crazy light up sign.
It's in New York. It's still there, I think. I forget, some studios, like movie studio. She ties them up, and that fall, when they fall through after it floods. They fall through the.
Yeah, totally.
Fuck. Dude,
also, you think she's gonna fall over the side of the building. She's hanging there like a damsel in distress, and then it cuts back to her, and she's just pulled herself up and back onto the roof. And I was kind of like, "Fuck yeah, Brenda!"
That fall, you don't need their help. The fall loosened her ropes enough that she could get out. Even though she's hanging off the side of a building, she just kind of pops up. But she knows to crawl because the electricity, right, coming from.
Yeah, she crawls along the edge. Doesn't go stand in the water with them because they're all electrified. It's just like Brenda's resourceful. She knows her shit.
The newly installed pool on top of the roof there.
Yeah. But
that's what I would
be afraid of. Randomly, they fall through a skylight, which is like, where was the skylight? But like, fall all the way down and then have a pretty cool, like even though it was the sword fighting was clumsy, the like staging was really cool. How it was just they're all like backlit with all the windows behind them.
Yeah.
And then
his eyes get the Kurgan's eyes get all black.
Yeah, what's that all about?
That was weird. Yeah,
that was weird. Like
once or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that's the alien thing in the second movie or something. Maybe I don't know. Some weird.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just got like his shrooms just kicked in or something.
Yeah.
His eyes are like fully dilated.
Dude, there was it was like total dilation. It was just all.
Yeah, it was all black. Yeah.
And then that's a little comedy too. A little comedy was in there after Brenda hits him with the pipe, and he's like, chink. What took you so long or something?
Oh, yeah.
And then they go. I think the camera work in that scene though is pretty cool. Yeah. Especially when they are fighting. It's kind of like sweeping this way, and it kind of makes a 180 kind of turn. And
I can see now that you mentioned it, I can see how the guy who did the choreography for the Star Wars films, you see it especially in that scene, that the choreography and the staging is really cool. Yeah. It definitely was like engaging, and it was like this is the climax,
Yeah. And the music too.
Huh?
The music too.
Like, totally. Which by the way, the music, Michael Kamen. Yeah. Like that guy is like, score master for the 80s and 90s. He did like all the Lethal Weapon movies and the Die Hard movies and all the Terry Gilliam movies.
He was in Metallica Black Album too. He did all the orchestration.
Right, yeah. That dude did a ton of stuff. So I thought the music was pretty cool, especially like the Queen stuff peppered in, because there's only 3 Queen songs, I think maybe.
Yeah, they actually Queen did a night at the what album is that? They did actually. Yeah, they wrote they wrote a bunch of songs for the movie, and then they only used whatever songs, and then they just put out an album, and they just put out music.
Right.
I think A Night at the Opera. I think
I don't think that was because A Night at the Opera was the 70s.
Okay. Yeah, it's 70s.
It's oh no, it's. I gotta look it up, dude. Because
is it the name of the song, "The Princes of the Universe" or whatever?
That's
the song. That's the opening credits song.
I gotta fucking let's see. Queen, Highlander album. Boom.
But yeah, the Queen songs were definitely. It was a good use.
I feel like
Freddie be dramatic as usual.
It fit with the fantastical, you know what I mean? Like the fantasy of it all, and like the.
Well, they were only supposed to do one song. The director asked for one song, but then they screened the movie for them, and they loved the movie. So each one of them wrote a song. Of the members wrote a song for the movie.
And, that's fun.
Yeah, cool. And so that's why they really got into the movie.
I could see that film preview, like, all right, so
wow, this is fantastic.
Yeah,
I got a song for this, man. I got a song.
Hey, that was just the opening titles, dude. Guys, this is calm down.
That was Sean Connery's voice, man. That was Sean Connery's voice.
Yeah,
I got to figure out. Hold on, I got to figure out. Oh, A Kind of Magic. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, that album was 1986.
So they took those songs that they wrote for that and then did filled out an album with other songs.
Yeah, and then they wrote more songs but the majority of the songs in this movie, are on that album.
Got it. Okay.
It's kind of the unofficial kind of companion album.
But anyway, that big fight scene at the end, he defeats the Kurgan and last big pyrotechnic scene with all the windows just
bombing out. Yeah, I like that
animation. They had that little animated.
Oh yeah, that weird
spirit. That was
thing.
A trip, man.
Yeah,
I was super into that.
Was that the spirits going out of him, and then into him? Okay,
yeah, I would think so. That's what I think.
At the end, does he become mortal again, or is he fully?
That's what he says. He's like,
so he's mortal again.
Yeah, he's mortal, but he can hear the thoughts. Of every person on Earth.
Which will join in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to use it to try to help broker peace.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, but it's so weird that it's just all wrapped up in like 3 sentences.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay, so now I can hear the thoughts of everyone. That's what the prize is.
Yeah.
And so people who are on disagreeing sides, I'm going to try to like broker peace between them.
Yeah.
And also I'm immortal and I can have kids. So let's do that now.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Bye. It's like he's with Brenda, and it's like, okay, I guess you guys were made for each other.
Yeah, and then it's like, all right, later. Yeah, we gotta go shopping for food. There's nothing.
Yeah. What do you want for dinner? Yeah, that's what they're saying after that.
It's like, I actually got to eat now.
Yeah, I gotta eat.
I gotta get a doctor. I
gotta learn how to swim properly.
Oh man,
yes.
Yeah. What's this? What is this? I feel weird. You're sick. You got the flu.
Yeah.
All right, so I have this thing, and I do in every show is the Clay Thompson Award, 6-Man Award, which is I named it after that because it's like a cameo or a secondary character that when they're in the scene kind of takes over the scene. It's kind of Game 6 of the 2016. So just think of a character. Do you have one? Like
I feel like
it's character?
What the hell's going on here, guy?
Yeah.
Like the guy with the Uzi.
The guy with the Uzi, or I gotta say maybe the hotel manager with the herpes at the Herpes Hotel. The Herpes Hotel and the leopard print, sleeveless shirt. Yeah, he's on that. Or the guy who's sitting there and just drinking the whole time.
The old man.
And he's like, get out of here. Don't talk to the guests. I told you. How many times I tell you not to talk to the guests? Yeah, maybe one of those. I don't know.
Mine was the cop dude. Don't move, pal.
Yeah,
don't even breathe.
Don't even breathe. And that set up didn't that line set up like a whole thing of him being showing his immortality again of don't even breathe, because that was kind of like a
you're right.
He can't die.
That's foreshadowing to he doesn't actually need to breathe.
That might be foreshadowing into the whole, I don't know if that's when he trained underwater or anything
training underwater was after that for sure. That's one of the first scenes. So
it's Tim.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. I never put those two things together. That's awesome.
Yeah. He probably doesn't have to breathe, right?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that's the point.
Yeah. Good work, man.
So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Uzi guy.
That Uzi guy.
Yeah, that's good. That
come on.
Yeah.
That red Trans Am, he's buzzing around.
Yeah, dude.
Goes down the alley.
That's right.
What the Queen song is? What Hammer to Fall? Isn't that the when he's playing with that Queen song, Hammer to Fall?
Oh,
nah. I don't know the words.
And it's just so great because it's showing this guy cruising on a Friday night or whatever.
Yeah.
He's hot
with
chick
his Uzi
car, cruising by all the people. Yeah, freaking multiple guns on his front seat,
just right there.
And he
loaded.
Goes by the alley, and you just see him look over and see a sword fight, and he just
he passes
what
it.
the hell? And backs up and it was all right, now it's time. This is clearly the Russians.
You're right.
Sword fighting. Which, oddly enough, the Kurgan was Russian. He was right.
Yes, that is
right.
true.
He has a Hello Moscow shirt on.
And then the guy, the hotel guy, Tim's.
The Herpes Hotel. Yeah.
Hey, if you need any, what does he say? If you need any blow, just let me know or something like that.
Yeah, and then Candy, right? Candy walks in the room. I mean, this is before when he
right. And then it's talk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I hope you get your head chopped off.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kind of
Which I was like, what? And then I remembered it's a big news story. Heads are getting chopped off all over New York, and that's why everyone's all upset. I was like, how's this guy know that?
Man. So,
also, the makeup department had a field day with the hotel denizens. Everyone had bruises. And
I know they were all wiped out, Skid Row in this hotel.
Yeah,
they're all sitting coughing.
And he's walking down the hall. Yeah, dude. The same thing. It's the same thing with the movie Terminator. When Terminator goes into that seedy hotel, and it's that same feel. It's just dirty and run down, and the people are all. Ugh.
Yeah,
crazy.
So I think those guys are some good scene stealers for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. All right, cool, man. Well, hey, do you got anything to add? Do you want to talk about anything we missed?
I feel like I've downloaded every thought I had about Highlander.
Well, now we don't have to think about it anymore.
Like Brett and I talked about it last night. It's like a movie that you would give a like to, but you wouldn't recommend anyone watch. You know what I mean? Because especially if they're strangers, you know what I mean? And you're like,
yeah, you got to know them first.
Yeah, you got to know them first, and if we're good enough, we're buds now. You should see this movie. You know?
Yeah. I enjoyed my time with it.
They have to have like the temperament of like. They have to be able to recognize the like you guys when you watch it, it's like this is ridiculous, but it was fun and it was whatever.
The movie kept my attention the whole time.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's the earnest the earnest feeling that it has, like it's like this is you should pay attention to the story because it's really good, and it is, but at the same time it's really ridiculous and
totally.
That's
and
how it was.
Christopher Lambert, man, or Christophe Guy Denis Lambert.
Well, they got 3 movies and a series out of it, so that's pretty damn good.
I think they also there was
and remake possibly
2 animated series.
Oh, that's right.
I think a couple animated movies and definitely like comic books. They started writing a ton of comic books. I saw that everything is written by like the original guy that wrote the first movie.
Oh, really?
So he's just been doing it. It's like, good for you, man. Hang on to that IP.
Yeah, dude. Because I think if you do it right, I think it's definitely something like, especially updating it in today's kind of way of making movies. Like, I definitely think there's a good story in there and a way you can kind of elaborate on. Elaborate on what Bret was saying about those scenes that. Yeah, maybe you can kind of search that scene or mine it for a little more.
Because you have all time to play with, right? I mean, just like the series, all the time to play with. It can be only one, so it's like this hunt, sword play always works well.
It definitely, you can be only one. You have to have more people. Like it can't be just like an ending point in 2 hours. It's got to be you got to introduce some more people, and maybe
there should have for sure been more immortals than
just to have like 4, I think it was total
5, right? Because there's the backflip guy.
Oh, that's right, the backflip guy.
And the flask guy that Kurgan kills. And then Ramirez, Kurgan, and McLeod. Which that's not enough. That's not enough immortals for a movie ostensibly about immortals that have been around.
Exactly. And
like a movie about Ramirez, because he said he was born in like 500 BC or something, right? Or like, or he was like born.
And he was born in Egypt, or he was Egyptian or something, wasn't he?
Right? Yeah. So and like, dude, that guy's movie. Like,
and just have like some stealth ones that you think that they're just normal people, and then they turn out to be immortal, and then like I'm coming after you, McLeod, or whatever.
It would be like the origin story, like when they figure out that they are, that kind of thing. That part was interesting.
That's true. Yeah, stuff like that. Like,
I feel like it would be a good like limited series, like a 1 season on like Apple TV or something. Like someone could really do a good job with it. Yeah. But also, you could really shit the bed with it too, I think. So like maybe we should just take what we've got and leave it.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Oh, cool, man. All right, well, cool, man. Well, thanks, guys, for coming on and talking to the Highlander. We got to do this again. This is fun.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe we'll do a Top Secret, something like that.
Top Secret's a good one.
Yeah. And Jim Abrams just died today, I think. I heard.
Oh, man.
The guy that made that and Airplane
all those spoofy movies or whatever?
Yeah, all the spoof movies. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's too bad
today. Yeah, that's too bad. So,
in his
honor.
Yeah.
Redo like Hot Shots.
I'm gonna take the next couple weeks off. We're coming back. I think we're starting on the 10th.
Cool.
Of January to start this over again. So and then we'll do this again. It'll be fun. All right. So thanks everybody that was listening, and thanks everybody that was watching. And I'll see you again soon. And take care. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.